Hello?
Hello?
Oh, Susan, hi.
Hi, Linda.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm okay, thank you.
Have you gotten your wood?
Um, it's coming on Saturday.
A wonderful thing. I got mine, so good for you.
Yes, well, I told my person that I wasn't in any particular hurry. I order green, so I'm ahead. And,
Right.
you
Yep.
know, so yes, I want it soon so I can get it in, but you know, it's a job, as you know.
Yes. Hard thinking about having to use it again.
Yeah, though it's been chilly, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been cold.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh, here comes Joanne. Oh boy. Yeah, it is. I just was outside and I was like, well, it's nice, but it is cool.
And that wind has just been awful.
Yeah. Hi, Joanne.
Hello. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Joanne.
All right, come on, computer. Ugh. Okay, there we are. Susan, you're represented by a phone.
Yes. I'm I'm not a stern mother, and when my daughter asked to take my computer back, I let her.
Aha.
Do you miss it?
What's that?
Do you miss having it?
I haven't. I do everything on my phone. I don't use the computer for anything.
Ah,
And she has a work computer, and then if she has mine, she's all set.
Well, good. Very kind of you.
Well, I do miss it at these times.
yeah.
Yeah, we'd like to see your face too.
I saw Janice in the parking lot getting trash bags last Saturday, I think it was. It was nice to see her.
Mhm.
There's Janice.
Hi, Janice. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just did.
did.
This one, unlike my other Zoom links, doesn't automatically open up the camera, and I have to remember that I have to click it and blah, blah.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. I was just saying it was nice seeing you last Saturday in the parking lot at the school.
Oh, that's Susan Gomberg speaking?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Susan Millinger, unmute yourself.
I saw you, but I didn't recognize you. I apologize.
That's okay.
There you go.
We had a nice little chat.
Didn't have your.
You went back to mute, Susan Millinger.
Well, maybe I don't need to be talking.
There you go.
Oh,
Susan Gomberg, you're the one who had to go back. This is Janice again. You had to go back and get
The money for the dump
Oh,
sticker,
right.
yes.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that was you. I knew you from somewhere, but with masks and
From
everything
long
else.
ago.
Ah.
are we ready? Susan Millinger, are you ready?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, we'll wait for Joanne to come back.
I was just seconds ago pasting the Council on Aging report into the annual report.
Oh.
Thought very appropriate. Can I get this number for the meeting? Not quite. I have to, it's in there, but I have to go and, make sure everything came out okay.
We lost Susan Millinger, but she's on her way back.
Is Melissa joining us?
Um, I thought so.
Oh,
I sent her, everything,
the survey.
yeah, the survey and, um, the link and the agenda and everything. So we'll see.
Okay,
But shall we open the meeting at 5:33 PM?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so roll call of who's present. Shall we do our alphabetical order?
Okay,
Oh, right.
Joanne Bernhard, present.
Susan Gomberg, present.
Janice Gray, present.
Susan Millinger present.
And Linda Ava Scott present. So we have the minutes from the 14th of April. Do we have a motion to approve?
I admit I didn't look at the corrections yet, but I'm assuming it's fine. I'm pulling it up. I apologize.
Well, there was the correction that you suggested and one correction from Linda, which was just saying that the person who signed the grant is the select board, not the town administrator.
Oh, okay. If that's all,
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes as amended.
and Janice will second.
Wait. They were amended before they were turned into this meeting. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
reading at the minutes as presented.
As presented, the minutes I move that we approve the minutes as presented.
Second, says Janice Gray.
Okay, so any further discussion? There being none, shall we have a roll call vote?
Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, aye.
Okay, financial update. Linda?
Yes, all right. So, ta-da, I received an email last evening from Gail Weiss, our town accountant, letting us know that our grant funds have been received
Ooh,
on the 7th of May. And is that right? Yes. Yes, Friday the 7th, though they won't actually be posted, because of her cycle. So, but the money is there, so she wanted us to know we're good.
Terrific.
So,
Thank you.
so that is good news. Now, in April, we calculated that we had, including the $6,000 for this fiscal year, that we had a balance of $4,576. Between our last meeting on the 14th of April and today, we expended $280 for gentle yoga with Jeanette Stockton, and that was for 7 sessions at $40. We $240 for strength training with Jay McWilliams. That was for April 4 classes at $60. $400 for Qigong with Michelle Cunningham. That was for 8 classes in March and April at $50. And then $190 for the April foot care visits. And just as an aside, that was two people at $30, one at $60, and one at $70. And so that total expenditure was $1,020, leaving us with a balance of $3,556.
Okay, so that March, that figure that we have in the April minutes was an estimate. I have
That's
roughly,
what I calculated based on adding $6,000 to our, where we were at, because we were minus.
okay, so that's not a rough figure, that's this accurate.
That's as accurate as I can be.
Okay, thank you, just
Yeah.
checking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it may, there may be some sense there, but that'll, I mean, there may be some sense, but this is meaning some decimal points. But this is the, as close as we can be at the moment.
So we're at 3,556 now?
Correct. Correct. If I've got it, all good. And I'll go over it more carefully now that we know that we have our $6,000 and yeah. Okay, so that's that.
So the foot clinic status update, Susan Gomberg.
I have nothing to say. I've heard nothing from Sue Miller. I have an appointment with her next week, so I'm sure we'll be chatting then, and she'll let me know how people have been behaving and not canceling appointments. But I have nothing new.
And can we refresh my memory that we I always have to have my memory refreshed about this. I remember that we said we'd continue through the end of May. Did we say about June?
Would be in the
I don't-
March minutes, I think. It's not in the April minutes. Doesn't look like it's in the March minutes either. So let's look at February.
Thank you, Susan.
So that question related to continuing to offer the monetary support.
Yes, for home visiting, because again, there are no specific plans, no firm plans for reopening town hall at this point in time.
So from what we just heard, and again, I have a very faulty memory, we need some plan beyond May.
I can't remember if we included June, and that's what I want to know, just so we can, if we didn't, that we could vote to cover June.
I feel sure that we discussed it, but maybe because I feel sure there was some mention of June, but it could have been in connection with the exercise classes rather than foot care, because I cannot find it at this point. I haven't found it in the minutes.
I kind of remember it also for June, for May, because they had raised their rates or something like that, and we weren't sure we could afford it. But I'm not seeing it in the minutes either.
That was.
Well, but the minutes, the rates are going to be raised in the future. They haven't been raised yet.
Well, I think, when did they start doing the in-home visits?
Okay, so
Last summer, fall.
yeah, last summer.
Okay, I'm off a year.
Yeah, so
Ah.
there will be a change in how we're billed.
Right.
We go back to in person.
I think I must have been thinking of last spring when we were sort of almost month by month feeling our way, and I apologize.
Well, you just were writing the annual report for us, which is why those things would be fresher in your mind.
Oh, I wrote it a while ago. I'm helping the town compile the general annual report, and that's why I had just pasted it in, which I could go and look at if anyone wants to see.
Okay, so I just want to be sure
Yeah.
and so that I can communicate with Foot Care by Nurses if needed, to be
Yeah.
sure that we're continuing on home visits. But since Sue Gomberg, you're going to see Sue Miller next week.
Yep.
We, that will come up, and I'm happy to call Vanessa Eastman, the person who sends me the bills, just to confirm with, just to be sure she knows that we're going through June at this point.
Well, I sure made an appointment with Sue for June.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I'm finding in last year's annual report, the COA voted to subsidize the cost of one home visit for a current client up to $30 through June 30th, 2020. So that was
Okay.
last year's news.
Okay.
So-
All right. Okay. Thanks. I just want to be sure we're covered. And okay, so that's.
So the answer is yes. It's just further back in the minutes that I went.
It must be, yeah.
No, that was 2020, she said.
What I just read was from last year's annual report.
Right.
But we would have,
So that was where my memory was saying something about June, but I think we maybe did say in the fall.
yeah.
Well, it seems to me in fall, we were kind of going month by month.
We were going a few,
Yeah.
a couple months at a time, which is why I had in my mind through May.
Mhm. I had,
Actually, in April, I had a note for Clinic Beyond, that we had through May.
mhm.
Um,
I remembered through May as well, but I could
In
be
the-
wrong.
yeah,
In the January
Yeah.
minutes, I have that we decided through April.
Mhm.
yeah.
So-
And subsequently, we decided through May. I know that, but I just, do you mind if we just vote it, just so we have it on the record that we agree?
Yeah,
Seems like a good idea.
makes sense to go through the fiscal year. We're not strapped. This is
No.
what I think we'd be worried about a little.
Okay, so I'll move that we continue the subsidy for home visits by the Foot Care by Nurses through June 30th, 2021.
I second.
Gomberg,
Any further discussion? Okay, so we'll roll call, please.
Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Ray, I.
Millinger, aye.
Scott, aye. Thanks, everybody. Okay, so we agreed we'd talk a little bit about MedRide at this point.
We did last time, I believe, a little bit. Linda pointed out to me that in the Village Neighbors newsletter, they outlined a procedure for their drivers, their volunteer drivers, which was based, I believe, Linda, on UMass.
That was
I don't-
discussed in the April minutes.
It
Yeah.
was, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looked like similar to the article that
Okay.
was about the UMass.
Right. And
research.
so the question was then, if we want to use those guidelines, at what point do we feel we can open back up the MedRide program of the Council on Aging? And some of that may depend on the intake procedure. Linda, is that correct?
Well, I think there are a number of concerns, and one of them, certainly would be that we would need to consult with the Board of Health before we did anything. And I am not certain that we as a municipality can ask anyone about their vaccine status.
Ah,
Mm. Okay.
Yep. I've been looking at the MCOA. You know, I check our email regularly and our COA email regularly, and there is now a MCOA has a little like forum in which people can ask questions, um, and that issue has come up, and it's been clearly stated that town councils have provide guidance that COAs cannot ask anyone's vaccine status if they're going, like going to, as they reopen and are having people come in, like say when we reopen for the foot clinic, if, when that time comes, we can't ask.
hmm.
So I don't know how Village Neighbors is managing that. I don't know if it's because you're in a different status. I don't know. So, there are questions.
Mhm.
And there's the management of it, like in the past, a call would come or an email would come, and I would previously I would call David, or and he would contact the individual and do all the intake and make all the ride arrangements. Since David passed, Elaine stepped forward, and so we would coordinate. I would basically do the intake because I was in town hall, and I could just go downstairs, whatever I need to do, to our phone and check it and check the email and had all the paperwork. And I would do the intake and then contact Elaine, and Elaine would do the work of arranging. We had been very quiet pre-pandemic. I want to say that we really were not doing, Joanne will concur, because she and I were doing the rider logs and for mileage reimbursement, and there really wasn't much. So I think there's a broader question about the efficacy of need, and it might, be part of, our survey. So those are just my thoughts on the subject.
My thought on this subject is that our minutes, if they're accurate, say that we're going to keep the question on the agenda for a future meeting. It doesn't say we're going to discuss it in May.
Yeah.
So I would suggest we just wait on this and not bring it up again until it looks as though we might be able to do it. Does that make sense?
Well, one of the issues may be when town hall actually opens. But the bigger issue for me now is whether we can ask people if they're vaccinated, because part of the protocol that was set out was that both driver and rider would need to be vaccinated. And if those are questions that we can't ask,
Right.
then it seems that it's not safe.
Well, I guess that, yeah, so I think I concur with Susan Millinger that maybe we just keep it on the agenda and, just talk, see what unfolds. And I agree with you, Joanne, that I don't know how to ask someone to volunteer to be a driver. If we, I don't know about anything related to liability regarding COVID. I don't know. So we have a lot of questions, and maybe we do need to just table it and wait. Um, we only had one way early on. We had one person ask, and they knew pretty much that we wouldn't be giving rides, and so I referred them on, and we did recently just have a general inquiry, and I referred them on to Life Path and Village Neighbors.
Mhm.
So there it is.
Okay. So do we need a motion to continue this, or do we just
No,
con-
we could just say
agree to
we're
continue
gonna
it?
continue, we'll just keep it on the agenda like we
Yeah,
have and
okay.
see where we go. Okay, everybody with that?
Yeah, and it can be on the agenda, but we don't need to discuss it unless circumstances change.
Good plan.
Mm.
Say when you're ready, Susan.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So, survey.
Yep. I was impressed.
Oh,
That's Janice speaking.
thanks. I can screen share it, which of course isn't going to help Susan Gomberg any.
I have it up on my computer, so I don't need a screen share, but maybe others do.
I printed off, I actually accidentally made 2 copies, so I'm fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
I have a printed copy, right?
okay. And Susan Gomberg, how are you?
What are we talking about?
The survey.
Can you email it to me?
I did. But would
Just
you like me to?
today?
Oh, no,
Oh, no.
last week.
Last week. Well, then I didn't get it.
Yeah, on the 6th.
Did I miss you? Oh, geez. Hold on.
It might have looked like the announcement of the meeting.
It was attached to the meeting agenda.
I'm looking.
Hold on. I apologize if I missed you.
Was this
No,
the
'cause
one that said when the Zoom link was?
Nope, it says COA 512 agenda and survey, because that's the one you wrote to me about submitting a
Oh, yes. Okay.
question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
seeing your name on the.
You got it?
Okay. Now I have
Okay.
it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree with Janice. I think this is Susan Millinger. I think it's impressive.
Well, thanks. We, we used certainly quite a bit of, quite a few of the questions, or just the, ideas about demographics from the Wendell survey, and organized it, as you can see, by demographic information, more about how you live, not trying to ask too many specific questions, but trying to elicit where people might have used services, and then what their unmet needs have, rather than asking any questions about what you might like to have. It was more to find out where people have used services and where there are unmet needs, and just a little bit about where people might see themselves in the future, altering their home. Again, isn't about senior housing, but just a little bit about um, uh, future living, and then about communication and information. Again, trying to see where people are at in our demographic for technology, And then we felt like, as indicated, we wanted to check on town announcement and code red, and that was the only bit of information that we wanted to specifically include, so that if people don't know about it, they could get themselves onto it. And then also finding out a little bit about the Gazette. So that's
I have,
what we did.
I have a thought that just came to me. But if we're not ready to talk about that, I don't know where we are in this.
Well, it's open for
Okay, then.
Joanne, where we want feedback. This is
Okay, so
no
this is,
draft.
this kind of makes an innocent question a little bit of a leading question, and I don't know what we want to do. Under the more about how you live, under 11, which is on the second page,
Yep.
it says that in the future, do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs? And I was thinking, okay, that'd be useful. Like, well, yeah, I'm going to need a stair lift, or I'm going to need a ramp, or blah, blah, blah. What if we said, do you see yourself altering your home or having to move to meet your changing needs? Is that a little too obvious? I mean, it's not quite the same as where do you see yourself living in the future? Because that could be closer to my grandchildren or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. And we're
I just thought of it just now.
well,
you
so
know,
what you would think is, like, in the future, there'd be A, do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs? Or B, do you see yourself moving?
I wasn't even breaking it down that much. I was making it all one sentence.
Right, but then how could you answer it? Oh, I see. You're asking, would you be doing either thing?
Yes. And if you wanted to break it down, then you would get even more of an answer about a need for housing. But then, and there's still room on the page, so it wouldn't go to 2 pages.
Right, that's right. We're trying not to.
Well, if we did an A and B section, altering your home or moving, we could eliminate number 10. Because
Well,
moving,
no,
no,
I think it's a different question, because to me, it means, are you going to be living in Shutesbury? Are you going to be moving to Greenfield? Are you going to be moving out of state? That's to what? Where do you see yourself? Where you see yourself living? That's
Okay.
what it means to me. Although, Joanne, it could require, it could elicit a variety of answers.
But you're not giving a lot of space for an answer with that line. You're basically
No.
saying Florida, or, not much space to say, well, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you don't want to blah, 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 blah.
Well, some people will do that anyway, especially if it's something that they can send in.
What we really want to do is, the basis for the questions is, what information do we want?
Right.
So we're interested, I mean, we're trying not to do too much about housing, because Brian McHugh told us we have to do a
Right.
general survey. I mean, Susan Gomberg, did you have a question, something?
No, but I do agree that what you have put forward here is amazing, and I apologize for missing it. When I did get your announcement,
Oh,
I'm just following what people are saying, and altering your home or having to move. I don't know. I guess I see them as two totally separate things.
Yeah. So
but anyway,
we could change it to say 11, to say, do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs? Yes, no, maybe. And then it could be, do you see yourself moving to meet your changing needs?
Yeah. What, this is Millinger, what exactly did you expect to get at with question 10?
I guess that was more of just if people are thinking, like, do you see yourself living? Where do you see? Okay, Shutesbury, or like was mentioned, Florida. Just it's just to see.
I guess you might get the answer more clearly if you said, do you see yourself living in Shutesbury in the future?
Do you see yourself staying in Shutesbury?
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay. What do you think, everybody? Joanne?
hmm. I'm looking at the page, not your faces.
Yeah.
So I don't want to cut Joanne off if she's about to say
No,
something.
no,
But
I'm thinking.
what if it was, do you see yourself, what was it, living in Shutesbury in the future? Why or why not?
No, I mean, we're trying not to, like get too much into non-simple answer.
Okay,
And the reason why to say, where do you see yourself living in the future is because just to have, like if people are thinking they're going to move out of town, then there's a place to put that. If you say, do you see yourself living in Shutesbury in the future? It's just sort of like, well, what does the future, like to me, it's a little more amorphous. It seems like it would be yes or no, but I don't know. we can go around and round. Um,
I guess maybe what I'm doing is I'm going too far down the road of trying to get answers for a later survey, such as, no, I don't see myself living in Shutesbury in the future because the taxes are too high, or something like that.
right,
So,
right,
so
right.
I back up.
Yeah. So we, down the road, we're going to ask many more specific questions
Okay.
about housing, right? And so the idea was just to ask a couple of things, and um, and maybe they're not specific enough. I don't know, but it's just to just 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 to see. I mean, I don't know. I'm no expert on making surveys, that's for sure. Um,
There are also, there's the question, where do you see yourself living and where would you want to live?
right.
And again, this may be too much oriented towards the housing question.
Right. It was just to ask a general question. And then when we get to housing, we're going to be, like that, asking
Yeah.
more specific questions. So, but regarding 11, do you want to say, um, do you, um, we could take 11 out altogether and not even go there, and wait for that until, do housing.
Well, question 10, which is the more general one, really could be, do you see yourself moving in the future?
Oh, okay. Well, oh, I see. So do you see yourself moving in the future? That could be, what do you think? And that could just be the housing, just that,
I would suggest moving 10 and 11 around because number 9 has unmet needs.
yep.
And then do you see yourself altering your home? And then as number 10, and then number 11, there have been a lot of suggestions about that statement. Do you see yourself moving
Yeah.
in the future?
I like that part. I like that better.
I like that too.
Okay.
So now how are we going to phrase number 10? Okay, so we're switching the numbers now.
Yeah. Okay,
But what about, what is number 11 now? How far do we go with that?
well, if we ask, if we, I don't know, we could just leave it like it is, because then the next question will be, do you see yourself moving in the future? Right?
I'm sorry, so
So we're asking, do you see yourself altering your home?
home, right.
We could take out in the future, do you see yourself? We could just say, do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, because anyone could say, yes, like 10 years from now, I might need to do blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
As opposed to, yeah, I need this or something. Of course, that's the unmet needs again, too. But,
I'm just fixing it.
okay.
Of course, always when you mess with things, formatting goes boo-boo. Okay, wait, now, okay, so I'm supposed, number 10 is going to be, do you see yourself moving from Shutesbury in the future, or just moving in the
Wait a
future?
minute. I thought number 10 was going to be, do you see yourself altering your home?
Yes, I'm so sorry, I meant to say 11. Yes.
I think
10,
11 could.
do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs? Yes, no, maybe. Then 11 is, do you see yourself moving in the future? But I'm asking if you want me to say from Shutesbury in the future.
I'd say from Shutesbury,
Yeah, probably clearer.
because I could move to a smaller home in Shutesbury. But maybe we want to know that too, but I don't know, because we're trying to avoid the whole housing thing, but it's a little more specific.
Yeah, and some people could be moving to a child's house in Shutesbury.
Right.
Well, I think we could leave it as it is. Where do you see yourself living in the future? It could be, it could be in Shutesbury, it could be in Florida, it could,
So not go moving, but living.
yeah.
That's the original question.
Still gives the sense of where.
Okay, all right, so
which
we're
was
going to go
the
back to,
intention.
do you
Yeah.
see yourself, where do you see yourself living in the future?
Yeah.
What is it again that you want to find out from that question?
If people need to move,
Well,
or if people can't live where they're living, that's the crux of the whole thing.
okay.
So where do you see yourself living in the future? In my home, or moving to my children's home, or moving to assisted living, or moving to Florida. It could be anything like that.
Right.
And actually some people might not have thought of this at all, and it will tickle them to start thinking about it. I think we could leave it. What do you all think?
So now we go from just, what unmet needs do you have, to sorry, formatting, to 10, do you see yourself altering your home to meet your changing needs? Yes, no, maybe. 11, where do you see yourself living in the future?
Mhm.
Blank.
Okay.
I think that works.
Looks good.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right, so, that's fixed, and I will, send it around to everybody. And if you can,
Okay.
look at it again, make sure
Um,
everything looks good.
On
I
number
have,
number
go ahead.
15,
Oh, yeah, okay.
it said, "Are you received town announcements?" Does that mean, are you receiving or do you?
Oh, that should, oh, thank you, good catch. That should say receiving. Ooh.
I have a couple of questions about these, more technical questions about this later stuff.
Yeah,
First of all, I don't think you should ask in 17A, was it useful? I think that's, I'm sorry, I think that's too negative a question to ask. And I would phrase it rather, what in it has been most useful?
That gets to be an open-ended question
that's an
again.
open-ended, right, we're trying not to,
Well, I don't think you want to ask, has it been useful?
Well, how about, would you like to receive it in the future? Yes, no.
Yeah, I mean, that would get at the same point without being negative,
Right.
okay, all right. Good
if
point.
if that's what you think.
Mhm.
Yeah, that, I like that, that is more positive. Okay, fixed.
Okay, so I think that there needs to be a place where people are told, if you want to receive it, this is where you go to get to give that information that you want to receive it. Just as you're explaining about how you get to Town Announce and Code Red, you ought to explain how you get to the Gazette. So maybe we're going to need something on the webpage that says, I would like to subscribe to the Gazette, and this is my email or home address or something. Is that doable?
This, I think, is the crux of the problem with how to get this out. Because we don't have an email list. We have only an address list, which would have to be updated. Linda was letting me know how difficult this would be at the current time to update the mailing list and then to create labels and then to mail out something like if we do a mail copy of the Gazette. But we have no email list, and we don't know who uses email and who doesn't. We don't know, how many people would actually go to the website and look up something.
Well, okay, first of all, in terms of the concerns about us not being able to put out a Gazette now, I don't think we should be thinking about just right now. I think we should be thinking about, a couple months from now or a year from now. If people want to get the Gazette, there ought to be a way to find out on the webpage how to do that. And it could involve sending in an email or sending in a letter.
So we
Or calling and leaving a message on a phone.
Okay, all right, so a little history. We have in the past in our Gazette asked people if they're interested in receiving it by email to send an email to coa@shutesbury.org. We got one. So we could put a note here. If you'd like to receive it by email, please email coa@shutesbury.org. Current issues are on the website.
Or you could, really in terms of reaching out to the public, if you only get one, that's okay. It's still worth providing the alternative, the option of getting in touch with somebody. And you could give them an alternative to email, which would be either writing or calling the phone number and leaving a message.
I do. I'm trying to think of what we did when we had that little ad in the Our Town maybe 2 years ago.
Mhm.
I'm going to look it up here.
And nothing came of that
Right,
either.
but I'm trying to think what the options were.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if nothing comes. You have to leave the option of there, because one of these days you might get some real responses.
So what I'm suggesting is that right here, we would say, if you'd like to receive it by email, please send, if you'd like to receive it by email, to email coa@shutesbury.org to get on our mailing email list.
And
Simple.
if you'd like to
Just-
receive it by paper, what did they do?
Okay, so
Nothing.
let's
Nothing.
look at this again. If number 17A has been changed to, would you like to receive it in the future? And then we could just say by email or paper. If email, please send, please, what?
Just, if you'd like to receive it, I'll just put it, I'm going to leave it like it is and just underneath B type to receive the Gazette. Let's see. By email. Contact coa@shutesbury.org.
Okay, so you have to give people a paper option too. And so can you just say write to COA at Town Hall?
No,
there.
Susan, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be frustrated, but we're asking them, would you like to receive it by email or paper? If people say paper, I'll just say, you don't have to do anything because if you ask for email, then well, let me just back up to say all our gazettes are labeled when we send out a mailing. So if you're on the email list, your label will be taken away. Otherwise, you'd be getting into.
Okay, I'm sorry to be dense, but I got it. I finally got it what your concern was. But they're getting it by paper anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the idea.
Except, okay, so now I'm looking at the winter 2020 Our Town, where we asked, and I'm not sure why we asked, are you 55 years of age or older? Do you receive the Gazette? If not, please contact Council on Aging. And there was a phone number and then the email. So we must have assumed we were missing some people who aren't getting them in the mail now.
I don't think we were just checking, I think.
Okay,
Yeah. And we got nothing except one person said, I'll be happy to have it by email.
okay. I'm just trying to make sure that we are in fact hitting everybody by snail mail that we want to, because if they're printed labels, we might be missing some folks.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I have a printed list of everybody 55
Okay.
years and older from Grace.
Is that the updated or the previous?
That's what worries me.
Okay, you know what? We're not going to be perfect. I'm just going to say it.
Mhm.
We're just not. It's not possible.
Right.
It's just not possible. So I have the list as of January 27th, 2021.
Oh, good.
Great. Super.
Okay. So
I'm assuming this list doesn't come from the town census.
all right, you know what? It's January 27th, 2021, before whatever town census has occurred or not.
Must be federal then.
No, this is Grace's list of people living in Shutesbury.
It is.
Oh.
It is. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we get the survey back and the answer is no, I'm not receiving it, then we know something's not right. And that's,
Correct. Of course, we haven't sent anything in
right.
a long time.
That's
So-
true. Whoops.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you think it's worth saying something about that in that question? In sort of in parentheses, because of COVID, we haven't been able to send out the newsletter since X.
Yeah, I could, because we do say in the past, but we could put a little parentheses that says, When is the last time we sent one out? It was just, I don't remember now.
You're wondering when the last Gazette was?
Yep.
I can tell you in a sec.
It was, I think, in January or February last year, because I remember it was after the funeral of Andy Fairfield.
It was.
Oh, that's right. That's when we were
It was
Yeah.
winter
Holding it.
2020.
April 2020.
No, it was before
March.
April.
It
March.
said- it was called winter 2020 and we were
March.
mailing it in February,
Okay.
I think.
It was before COVID.
It was before COVID,
Yep.
but COVID sort of was mid-March, wasn't it? Yeah, anyway,
Yes.
so it was winter. If you just say winter 2020, that would be.
That's what it says. That's what we
Yeah.
were calling it.
Mhm.
Okay.
My feeling is that at this point that we could possibly, when we decide that we can do the Gazette again, we can do it like we did before. We can mail a copy out to everyone with some of this information in it. If you would prefer to receive by email, let us know.
Yep.
Rather than doing it on this survey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was wondering if we should just strike it from the survey.
the whole question of the Gazette.
Yeah.
Well, except it's called about communication and information.
Right, and the idea is to ask some general questions about, I mean, okay. So it's kind of working on number 17 is interesting because we haven't talked about how we're going to get this out.
Right.
And if we're sending it out in a sort of mini Gazette format, meaning, just a small newsletter with this as one of the pages, then the bit about due to the pandemic, our last issue was mailed in.
Wouldn't be relevant.
Right. It would, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess we don't need to ask. I'm I'm getting a little balled up in this, but it's sort of, if we're going to send it out in mini Gazette format, then asking in the past, I mean, we could still ask that question, it could still be there, but we do need to move on from the content of the survey if we're more or less okay with it, or not. I mean, I'm conscious of the time and
Oh, yeah.
thinking about how we want to, how we're going to send, what we're going to do with this. I mean,
Right.
one idea that Joanne and I floated was, outsourcing a mini Gazette, in which, and Janice will understand this, in which it basically would be, however much content we could get, if it's that one of the pages would be the survey, and on another page there'd be instructions that you can tear the sheet out and you can mail it to the the COA at Town Hall. You can put it in the Dropbox, and then also there's the Survey Monkey option as well.
One of the issues, as Linda explained it to me, and Janice, you know this probably best of all, is that outsourcing it, they would be printing on a 11 by 17 page folded, and we couldn't put anything in as an insert.
Right, which would be the logical way to do this survey.
Yeah. So it becomes an issue of how many, one 11 by 17 page printed on both sides gives you 4 pages. But to add another whole page in there gives you 8 pages, which I think is too much.
Yeah.
So it's a real question of how, what kind of format could we even use to send this out?
Yeah.
You're going to need an address page, right?
Oh,
Well,
yeah. Oh,
that
yeah.
too, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yep. Yeah, because it gets folded. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
like we used to, do manually.
I have an opinion that will be unpopular.
Which is?
I would not make this look like the Gazette.
Mhm.
I would make it look like its own thing, that it's an important survey. And I realize you want to get other stuff out there, but I'm afraid it will be overlooked if it's part of something that looks like the Gazette.
Okay,
That's my unpopular opinion.
how, do you have a thought about how we could do that?
Well, I'd have to play with it. Let's see what, this is 14-point type, that's good. I'm trying to see if there's a way it could just be a two-sided 8.5 by 11, but somehow with a mailing sheet. So it'd have to be shorter. I'd have to, or even an 11 by 14 folded. So it's one piece of paper and one, I'm playing here with our agenda. Like one piece could be the mailing. So they'd have to put a stamp on it. They would just fold it up and put it in the mail. I'm not sure how that would work, but I'm sure it's been done somehow. I'd have to think about it some.
That would be the easiest way to do it in terms of,
I used to do a newsletter. It would take me a minute to get my hands on it. I worked for a contractor and he did a newsletter for, advertising his business basically. That was a single piece of paper that was folded like that. But I can't remember the size of the paper, but I think it was 11 by 14.
Did he outsource it?
I ran it off on his photocopy machine in his office.
Okay, yeah, so this is.
No, we didn't. No, we took it to Collective Copies because he wanted their particular color paper. But I think the first one I did in his office, I'm just going to move away from my computer for a moment and I can get this thing and I can give you a more definitive answer of what I did in the past. So
Okay.
I'm not guessing myself and getting it wrong.
So sending it out as a one page, it's now two-sided.
Yep,
There would need to be instructions.
yep.
We also were trying to consider how to be prepared for a medical emergency in at the same time.
Ah, that was the question. Yeah, we were trying to do things at once.
I think Janice has a lot of value in what she's saying about keep it simple,
Right.
And just the survey.
Okay.
People might pay more attention to it. I mean, that's just a response. It's not a statement. Okay.
I'm not seeing my thing that I was trying to grab for you, so never mind.
Okay, let
Somewhere.
us, Janice, may I suggest, this is Joanne, may I suggest that you, since you're the one with the expertise here, see if you can play with this. And
And send a mock-up around.
yeah, what was the second part of what I was going to say, people, please? There was a second piece of this, which I now have lost.
I'll send you, Janice, once I fix it up, I'll send it to you, okay?
Oh, it was the Survey Monkey part.
Yeah.
This is Gomberg. Once it gets ready to go out, could there be a town announcing it for people to be on the lookout for it?
Hmm.
Yep, good idea. Good idea.
So, I mean, so we can also say at the same time, if you prefer to do this online, there's the Survey Monkey
And save
copy.
a stamp.
Yeah. Well, they can drop it into the Dropbox too, but
Yeah.
so the one-page format would need some instructions. It would need a mailing, an address place, right?
Yep, and we'd have to find out if, I mean, most of the mailings that come out are in, folded in half. I don't know if we can. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's possible with the outsourcing, size-wise, but
Okay, here's the size paper I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And I'm just playing here. I'm not folding precisely. We have a mailing label. You open it up and there's the survey. And maybe it flows over onto the back. I don't know.
yeah, so I don't know if we can use their bulk mailing permit on that.
Really? Oh,
I don't know. I'm just, that's where my mind is, of course, thinking. I don't know. That's new territory, so I guess I would need to ask that.
that's a good question. And I know, but this was 20 years ago. My contractor had a bulk mailing permit because that's how we did it.
Okay,
But he was a private business. I don't know about the town.
right. Well, Adams is, they're really, really friendly and easy to work with. So, I can call Ken and ask him, Ken Adams, and ask him if it's 11 by
14.
11 by 14,
Yeah, let's see.
right? 8.5 by 14.
Oh, yeah, oh, sorry, yeah, I apologize. Yes, so 8.5 by 14. This is a
Okay,
8.5 by 11.
fold it in thirds, right?
Or even fourths. I don't know.
Okay.
You might have a suggestion. You might say, yeah, they don't want them in fourths. It's too small. It
Yeah,
jams.
it just depends on their machine and what they
Yeah.
can do,
Right.
So, all right, so I guess that will be my job, is to find out if such a thing is possible,
And let me know.
and then we'll just see where we're at. I mean, I guess we're not in a particular rush. We just,
No.
keep moving forward, right?
I know you want to get that list of how-tos,
Yes.
but I'm just afraid we need to make this really obvious.
I agree that it should be a single thing. And, that I was only thinking of that if we were doing a Gazette and all of these things were part of the Gazette that we were mailing out.
Mm.
So, okay, so Linda, can we use the bulk mail?
I'm gonna call, I will, I'm gonna, we're in the midst of getting the Our Town newsletter
Right.
going.
Mhm.
And so I've already been in touch with Ken Adams about, just letting him know we're coming. And so I'll call him, you know, um, in the next few days, maybe early next week before I have a chance to do that, but I'll call him and ask him what is, I'll explain what we're up to and what's possible. So we'll learn about that. And then the other piece will be setting up the spreadsheet for with that the printers use to create the labels from.
Mhm.
So that is the piece that I explained to Joanne will be quite time consuming to
Is
get
there- Can I help?
700 names.
Can I help with that in any way? Is that?
It's, I have the list. And I know what they're looking for.
Mhm.
But
Hate to have everything fall on you with
so
everything that's going on
once we
now.
find out if it's possible, then maybe we can figure out a way to share this or something and work together to get the spreadsheet done.
Okay.
And I just want to add, I don't want to mislead you guys. Just because I thought 11 by 14 would be good, it doesn't mean we can't do it in 8.5 by, 11 by 8.5 by 14, duh. It doesn't mean we can't do it in 11 by 8.5. It just would be more readable. So I'm not saying we can't do it in this size normal sheet.
Right. I see what you mean. Right.
But I did want to mislead you.
Right. But we recognize that it's 14.2 sided, so there has to be room for the information. So, well, we'll find out what's possible.
Okay, I just didn't want us to say, no, we can't do it at all because of I got this paper size in your brain, which I keep getting
Yeah.
wrong anyway. So
Yeah, okay. And Susan Millinger's got her hand up.
sorry.
No, is Janice finished?
Yes, I'm done. I just said
Okay.
that, oh, I've led them down this path. And I need to get them. No, it was not only that.
I'm sure this is a stupid question and I don't understand why it's a stupid question, but could we not put regular mailing labels on it if each of us took a bunch of them home and did them and then turned them in? Is that not doable? Is there some reason we couldn't do that?
Okay, so if we're going to have Adams print it, they'll do everything for us. If we can use the bulk mailing permit on this, I give them the spreadsheet. They print the addresses right on the document and take it to the post office. They do the whole thing.
I hear you about that, but I also hear you say that it's really complicated creating the spreadsheet they're going to use for the addresses.
Well, we have to do it anyway. I mean, we'd have to update I have a COA mailing list and it's formatted in, to print labels. So that would need to be updated, which of course would be less cumbersome than doing the whole spreadsheet. But if we can't, if we did it, tried to figure out a way to do it in-house and then, somehow get labels to everybody to put them on and then get them all back. I'm just not prepared to do a bulk mailing.
Okay.
Okay, may I suggest, Linda, because I know that your town meeting is coming up. You're very involved in all the things that are going on now. Janice, you probably are too, right?
Yep.
With things like that. So let's think about this a little further. Maybe Janice can play with some paper and see what looks like a reasonable plan. We can find out if we can use the bulk mailing. In the meantime, I'll volunteer to try and find out about the Survey Monkey stuff and see if I can. It's supposed to be not very hard, so I'll see if we can format the survey on Survey Monkey.
Okay.
And then after town meeting, and a break for Linda, we can revisit this because there's no rush to get this out. And there are a lot of unknowns here. So
Yeah, that sounds a relief. And so because I know Janice is working on the newsletter and the annual report, where she's doing the digital formatting for me. Again, because because we are where we are. And so in the meantime, I will talk to Ken Adams and find out what's possible. So we know what they might be able to do for us. And yeah, so this is good. And oh yeah, the other thing is that I know that the Open Space Committee is going to be doing a survey, and we might be able to learn from them what they do.
mhm.
So how they handle it. So that'll be an
Oh,
interesting.
that's right. And that's on Survey Monkey, I
Is
think.
it? Oh, you know from the newsletter, right?
Yeah, yeah. Or I've done something. If you really want to know, I'll look it up right now. But yeah, they do have a digital survey. They wanted to have a link in the newsletter article to get people to this survey. And I
Okay.
clicked it to see where it went.
Mhm.
And it is not a governmental link, but LifePath is working with them on it, and it doesn't take you anywhere but the survey. You can't end up on a porn site. So
Okay. Oh, right. It's FERCog that they're working with.
FERCog, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how they've chosen. It sounds like they've just chosen to do a digital survey.
And I think that it goes live on the 1st of June or something like that.
Okay.
So we'll see it before our next meeting.
Right, because we should all have our newsletters before then.
And when we get to unanticipated topics, I can throw in a couple of lines about that and the how-tos.
Okay.
I agree that this is not a good time to be trying to plan this, and there is no rush on sending this out. There's no reason why we can't send it out in the middle of the summer
Right.
or later.
Mhm.
There's absolutely no point, no reason to add to anybody's stress level.
Good. Thanks. So I will, I'll fix up the formatting and send it over to everybody. And then Janice will fiddle whenever she feels like fiddling, and I'll talk to Ken. Joanne will find out about Survey Monkey, and we'll see what we have when we come back in June, right? Okay, everybody?
Sounds good.
Good.
I think we might put this off until July, because when we come back in June, we'll just before the town meeting.
But I mean, we'll have little bits of information.
Yeah.
To say this is where we're at, and then we can carry it over to, July.
Right.
And then, but I meant, in the meantime, a little bit of, a little bit of progress. So,
Okay.
good.
So
Phew.
are we segueing to unanticipated?
First, I just have one secretary's question. You keep referring to Ken, and I don't know what printing, what
I'm
copying
so
copy this
sorry.
is.
I'm so sorry. It's Adams. Adams. Hold on for 1 second. I'll give you the correct name. It's Ken Adams, and it's Adams Direct Mail Services.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, am
Okay.
I on?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that I do not yet know if I have all the articles for our town yet. But based on what has come in, we might still have room for our how-tos. I don't know yet. I would have liked to have been able to give you a definitive answer, but I can't. But it's possible. I'm not being swamped with pieces of stuff, but they could still be out there somewhere because the deadline was only Friday.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
Just wanted you to know that.
you have the how-to, you formatted it for us.
Yes.
So if it fits,
Yahoo.
it can go in.
Yes, but I don't know yet because
No, I
we
know.
are limited to 12 pages.
I'm just saying, go ahead and do it if it fits.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
It'd be sort of a housekeeping thing. I'm assuming that I'd be authorized to do that. But because it would be before our next meeting,
Yes.
but I can't promise, but
Mhm.
I'm not as worried about the length of the newsletter as I was a month ago.
Phew.
Okay.
Thanks for telling me that, because I was like wondering.
What?
I was wondering, this is my town, my
Yeah, well, I
secretary
don't know, as you know from some email back and forth, I don't know if something's coming or not. I'm trying to shake branches.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay.
if I don't think we've identified the how-to is coming from the Council on Aging.
We did, in the sense that I sent something to you for Gary to use, where I added something about the Council on Aging at the beginning.
Oh,
Yeah, if we were going to print it out.
okay, right, yeah. Okay. So that would be great if it could fit in. And if not, we'll deal with it later.
Um,
Okay, unanticipated topics? Anybody?
well, you had, Joanne, you had received the from
Yeah.
Anne Frank.
Yeah, the Mass Executive Elder EOEA.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Office of Elder Affairs, okay, has sent around to all of the COAs the Massachusetts plan for dementia and Alzheimer's. They have created a 71-page document. I think 60 pages of which deal with the plan, and then the rest is acknowledgements and footnotes and whatever. We could reference it on our website. I don't know that, I mean, it's really dense. I couldn't read the whole thing. And I don't know how much it pertains to Shutesbury again, because it might be written more for larger entities, towns that have sidewalks and things like that.
Mm.
Joanne, can you give us like 20 words of what it seems to be a plan for?
I'll look at it again and see if I can.
Okay.
Okay.
In sort of instructions for towns?
It's more like approaches, I think. but I'll dig deeper into it and see if I can come up with something.
Okay, I'd appreciate it because I really have no great desire to read it unless there's some real
Well,
value there for us.
That's the problem.
One person assigned to read it would be enough for me.
Okay, I'll try and see if it's
Thank
worth.
you for being the sacrificial victim there, Joanne.
All right, all right. Well, it seems to be, I mean, you know, the life path is dealing with it. You know, what's the wording from the gentleman at Life Path who's leading the charge
Noor?
I think, of this? Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Dementia-friendly communities, aging, I'm sorry,
Yep,
aging and
dementia-friendly communities, yeah.
dementia-friendly communities. So it's being tied in now with aging communities overall and within the state
Okay,
as a concept. I'll take a look at it and see if I can come up with 20 words. Am I limited to 20?
no, I just meant you don't have to feel that it's, I don't want you to feel you have to tell us everything you learned.
Okay. All right, for next time.
Thank you, Joanne.
Okay, have we accomplished what we can accomplish for today?
I'm good. I feel like
Okay.
we did a lot.
Okay, shall we
Mm.
terminate the meeting at 6:54 p.m.?
So moved.
Second, says Janice.
Okay, Bernhard, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray, eye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, aye. Phew, okay.
I thought this was going to be a short meeting. Haha.
We were out before 7, that's something.